I'd like to call the meeting to order. I remind everyone to put your cell phones on silent. I would appreciate that. Will you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Paul.
Here.
Vice Mayor Lewis.
Here.
Councilmember Whitman.
Here.
Councilmember Hatton.
Here.
Councilmember Starkey.
Here.
Mr. Lamack.
Here.
Mr. Lewis.
Here.
Mr. Holste.
Here.
Mr. Weinthal.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Just have to make a statement. The town published the agenda this past Friday, which inadvertently added public comments under Section 3 of the agenda. Public comments take place at the first meeting of each month. The town clerk's office has made the correction and provided a revised agenda. Therefore, we do not have public comments this evening. If anyone came for that, I apologize. I'd like to start off with a presentation on Relay for Life, our fearless leader.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, administrators, staff, and members of the public who are with us tonight. I am Cheryl Ellett, CRA Program Manager with the Town of Davie, and Davie's chair for our Relay for Life team this evening. Also with me tonight is Leona Henry, our co-chair, and our international intergovernmental affairs manager. With over 1.8 million volunteers nationwide, the American Cancer Society works to attack cancer from every angle. Through cancer research, education, advocacy, and family services, ACS is dedicated to helping our friends, loved ones, co-workers, and neighbors who have been impacted in one way or another fight cancer. Relay for Life is the world's largest volunteer-based fundraising event. For more than 36 years, communities across the world have come together to honor and remember loved ones and to take action for life-saving changes. Through our local support, we are fighting back. Since 2003, the town has actively participated in this worthy cause, from hosting Relay for Life events to engaging interactive fundraising initiatives. The town has partnered to help raise over $1.8 million to help support the American Cancer Society and to fight back against cancer, to save lives, celebrate lives, and lead the fight for a world without cancer. This year, the town has been tasked with raising $10,000. To some, this would be daunting, but we have the strong backing of our council, our administrators, and the amazing town staff who have rallied with us to make this possible. I am happy to announce that while we are over a month away from the Relay for Life event, we have successfully met our goal. Thank you. To date, we have raised $10,289. A major thank you to everyone who has donated monetary kind, raffle prizes, their time, and effort. Any contribution you have made to Team Horsing Around is greatly appreciated. Our internal team committee, comprising of administration, Parks and Recreation, the town clerk's office, have really contributed collectively to meeting this goal. And I would like to take this opportunity to personally thank each and every one of everyone for their support. Way to go, team. Please mark your calendars as this year's event will take place on April 22nd at Cypress Bay High School in Weston. The event will kick off at 3 p.m. The town is partnering with the City of Cooper City, the City of Weston, to make up Broward Power. On your screen today is the town's QR code. If you would like to donate to the town of Davie's Team Horsing Around, you may scan the QR code shown above to join our team. We will be hosting another special raffle between now and April 22nd. The first item is an autograph, sorry. Can we go back to the other slide? Perfect. We will be hosting another special raffle between now and April 22nd. The first item that we have in our progressive raffle is a Zach Thomas autograph football. The second item is a Miami Heat autograph basketball. These two items are currently up for raffle, and the drawing will take place at the conclusion of the main Broward Power Relay for Life event on April 22nd at Cypress Bay High School. Once again, the ticket prices for these special raffles are shown on the screen that you are seeing. If we could go back one screen. The other one. Perfect. We will also be hosting another raffle next Friday, March 24th. As you know, we've been having some awesome raffles going on throughout this part of the year to raise the funds that we've raised thus far. Ticket prices, once again, are shown on the screen. And then I would just like to share with you some photos from our previous year's events. As you can see, the town of Davie has always partnered together to host a great event and sponsor this event and to raise funds for Relay for Life. Once again, thank you for your support. If you would like to make a donation and or join our team, please contact Leona Henry or myself, or scan the QR code that is shown on your screen. Let's continue to fight back against cancer, to save lives, celebrate lives, and leave the fight for a world without cancer. Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Cheryl, one question. The balls, this football and the basketball, do you have to be present to win?
You do
I'm
not
just
need
checking,
to,
so-
right, you do not need to be present to win. We have everybody write their name and their number,
Okay.
and then we will go ahead and call them.
Thank you.
At the main event, if they're not there, then they can always stop by Town Hall to pick that up. And the raffle on the 24th, we will sell tickets between 7 a.m. and 9:15 a.m. next Friday, and then also from noon to 2:15, and the drawing will immediately be held at 2:15 right out front where the big white tent is. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much for all your hard work. We always appreciate that. I need to announce an item that needs to be tabled. The applicant has requested to table the variance, which is having to do with Ames Power. May I have a motion?
Motion approved. Motion to table.
No, to table.
Table.
Second.
Let's not jump the gun.
I know.
Second. to table.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. So that is tabled. Do the consent agenda. I'm pulling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, and 15. Ms. Whitman, what do you have? Anything?
No, Mayor, I don't. Thank you.
Marlon, Vice Mayor? Is that?
Nothing for me.
Okay. All right, we're going to ask you to approve the consent agenda minus 1 through 7, 14, and 15. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve consent agenda minus 1 through 17, is that correct?
Seven.
7, 1 through 7.
14 and 15.
14 and 15, thank you. I thought I didn't.
Is there a
write that.
second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, we're going to start off with the proclamation, the first proclamation. This is for the National Surveyors Week, and Mr. Scott McLaughlin will be coming up to accept it. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Whereas surveyors and mappers are counted among the founding leaders of our country and were instrumental in the formation of the layout of property boundaries in the United States, which have provided our citizens the enjoyment of property ownership. Whereas the citizens of Florida recognize the valuable contributions of the surveying and mapping profession to history, development, and quality of life in Florida and the United States of America, and make important decisions based on the knowledge and expertise of licensed surveyors and mappers. Whereas the surveying and mapping profession requires special education, training, knowledge of mathematics, the related physical and applied sciences, and requirements of the law and evidence. And whereas surveyors and mappers are uniquely qualified and licensed to determine and describe land and water boundaries for the management of natural resources and protection of private and public property rights. And whereas the continual advancement in instrumentation have required a surveyor and mapper not only to be able to understand and implement the methods of the past, but also to learn and employ modern technology in finding solutions to meet the challenges of the future. And whereas Global Surveyors Day, March 21st, 2023, was created in 2018 through a collaboration among worldwide surveying organizations to recognize the role of surveyors. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the mayor and the town council of the town of Davie do hereby proclaim March 19th through the 25th, 2023 as National Surveyors Week.
Good evening, Mayor and Town Council, council members, and staff. Scott McLaughlin, McLaughlin Engineering. This is our 85th year in business in Broward County, and we're.
You're looking
Everybody
good.
says I look pretty good. Okay. I'm a third-generation surveyor. Earlier today, I was with Dodie Keith, with Team Keith, whatever it is. She's a second-generation surveyor. We have a lot of people that just keep promulgating this profession. It's very important. It's any development you do, any purchase of land you do, you need surveyors. So with that, I want to introduce the president of the Broward chapter, Mr. Ben Hoyle.
You stole most of our speech, but I do want to say thank you on behalf of the Broward County chapter of Florida Survey and Mapping Society, and just surveys in general for recognizing our profession. There's a lot of history in what we do. We take a lot of pride in it. You don't become third-generation surveyor if it's not something interested and you like and you love. And part of what you said about knowing how to apply the mathematics in the past to the future, our job has changed so much with technology. I actually get to go home and say I played with drones and lasers today because that's part of our job. And surveying is changing so much. We want to keep it open and let the public know what we're doing. We are employees of your residents, and we want to make sure everybody knows what we're up to and keep everybody informed, and we appreciate the opportunity to be recognized.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Go and have your pictures taken. Become famous. Proclamation number 2 is Government Finance Professionals Week. Councilmember Whitman will be reading this, and Mr. Ackerman will be accepting it. May I have a motion to approve? Hello? May I have a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Is there a second?
Second it.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. I'm sorry, I should have handed it to you.
Whereas the Florida Government Finance Officers Association, FGFOA, is a professional association founded in 1937 that provides support, education, training, networking, and leadership opportunities to more than 3,300 government financial professionals throughout the state. And whereas the FGFOA and its member governmental organizations sponsor Government Finance Professionals Week to recognize government finance professionals and the vital services they provide to our community and state. And whereas during this week, government finance professionals throughout the state of Florida will be acknowledged for their hard work, dedication, and leadership. Now therefore it be proclaimed that the mayor and the town council of the town of Davie do hereby proclaim the week of March 20 through the 24th, 2023 as Government Finance Professionals Week, and extend our appreciation to all government finance professionals here in Davie and throughout the state of Florida for their hard work, dedication, and leadership.
Mr. Ackerman?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council members. Bill Ackerman, your Budget Finance Director. Unlike your previous person that was up here, I don't have 85 years of experience, but thank you very much for the opportunity. We appreciate working for our residents and for Town Council, and thank you very much from all of us. We appreciate it.
Proclamation number 3 is National Agricultural Day in Davie, and accepting it are Ag Board members Jesse Bastos and Jeremy Welby. Oh, no, there's Eric Swally. Okay. And Mrs. Starkey will be reading. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Whereas the Agriculture Council of America is a nonprofit organization which aims to increase public awareness of the vital roles that agriculture plays in our society, and whereas the Agriculture Council of America encourages communities to celebrate National Agriculture Day each spring in appreciation of all those who are involved in the American agriculture, and whereas agriculture is responsible for providing the necessities of life such as food, clothing, and shelter, and whereas increased knowledge of agriculture and nutrition allows individuals to make informed personal choices about diet and health, and whereas the town of Davie wishes to recognize the contributions of the agriculture to our everyday lives, and whereas the town of Davie values the essential role of agriculture in maintaining a strong community economy, and whereas the town of Davie takes great pride in our agricultural roots and applauds the Agricultural and Environmental Advisory Committee for its endeavors to maintain agriculture in the community and for Parks and Recreation's commitment to our community gardens. Now therefore be proclaimed that the mayor and the town council of the town of Davie do hereby proclaim that Tuesday, March 21st, 2023 as National Agriculture Day in Davie.
Okay, would you like to say a few words? Would you like to say a few words?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so.
I'm glad to see our town have an increasingly importance on agriculture. And it happens to be the day before Earth Day. And on this Earth Day, our town is having its first day as well in a new program called Gardens Matter. And Jesse, I'd like to say a word about that.
Yes, we're very excited about all of the support that you have provided to the committee in keeping our agricultural roots alive and well, and we have a lot of great initiatives like Gardens Matter Day on the horizon, so thank you so much for your support.
Thank you. Okay, fine, absolutely. Have a note very much.
Okay, proclamation number 4 is National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. It'll be read by Councilmember Hatton, and accepting will be Chief Kinsey. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
You don't look like Chief Kinsey,
Yeah, I was
but
going to
you're
say.
prettier.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
ahead.
Proclamation. Whereas the week of April 9th to 15th, 2023 is National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, a week designated to honor those who perform dispatching duties for law enforcement. And whereas this week is sponsored by the Association of Public Safety Communications Officials International, APCO, and began in 1981 by Patricia Anderson, a member of the association. Celebrated annually, this week honors thousands of men and women who answer emergency calls, dispatch emergency professionals and equipment, and render life-saving assistance to the world's citizens. And whereas the critical role played by public safety telecommunications professionals across the nation is oftentimes underappreciated and underestimated. When a member of the public or an officer needs help during an emergency, dispatchers become their lifeline, ensuring that the appropriate assistance is contacted and en route to whatever the situation might be. And whereas the town of Davie recognizes this week and expresses our thanks to the public safety communicators who proudly serve the community, town of Davie citizenry, and emergency professionals in their time of need, or in many cases their darkest hour. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the mayor and town council of the town of Davie do hereby proclaim April 9th to the 15th, 2023 as National Public Safety Telecommunication Week. In witness thereof, Judy Paul. I didn't read the rest. Thank you.
Number 5 is Yom HaShoah Day. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No, that's all right. I can be corrected.
I'm Melissa Barnett, the dispatch supervisor. Our other supervisor, Michelle, couldn't be here, and this is our dispatch manager, Jennifer Anton. So I just want to thank you for the proclamation, just say a few words. So it is a unique and talented person who can do this job and do it well. It takes a special person with unique skills to be the job of dispatcher. You probably won't recognize them, these heroes on the streets. They don't wear a badge or carry a gun, but they are among us. They work around the clock, including holidays and birthdays. They often miss family functions, school activities, and are sometimes at work when most people are home asleep. They remind us what it means to do a job and do it well, so that others can be helped and never expect anything in return, which is a true public service. They are humble, kind, compassionate, and caring. So we just want to thank you for the proclamation from our Davie Dispatch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay, now 6 is Yom HaShoah Day of Remembrance. This is not until April 18th, but because we don't have a meeting on April 5th, we're moving it forward. Linda Medvin, who is the Holocaust coordinator for FAU, was going to accept it, but she can't be here. She had to go to a funeral. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I think it's important to recognize it in this day and age when we have so much going on and with hate and anti-Semitism and prejudice, that it's important to know that the Holocaust and studying the Holocaust offers an opportunity to reflect on the moral responsibilities of individuals, societies, and governments. And we in Davie have always spoken out very strongly against anti-Semitism, against hate, and against all forms of prejudice, and we just want to make sure that everybody knows that love wins. Huh? Oh, yeah, okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous, thank you. Got a lot on my mind, so thank you for helping me, I appreciate that. Number 6 is Child Abuse Prevention Month. May I have a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? This is going to be read by Mrs. Starkey, and someone from the, Natalie Gomez is going to accept from the Children's Services Council.
Whereas Florida is committed to protecting our most vulnerable children and empowering them to reach their full potential and lead healthy lives. And whereas research shows that safe and nurturing relationships and stimulating and stable environments improve brain development and the well-being of children, while neglectful or abusive experiences and unstable or stressful environments increase the odds of poor childhood outcomes. And whereas the abuse and neglect of children can cause severe, costly, and lifelong problems affecting all of society, including physical and mental health problems, school failures, and criminal behavior. And whereas every person should make children a top priority and take meaningful action to support children and families in their communities. And whereas research also shows that parents and caregivers who have social networks and know how to seek help in times of trouble are more resilient and better able to provide a safe environment and nurturing experiences for children. And whereas individuals, businesses, schools, faith-based, and community organizations must make children a top priority and take action to support the physical, social, and emotional and educational development and competency of all children. Whereas Child Abuse Prevention Month is an important opportunity to urge all Floridians to engage in activities that strengthen families and communities and that provide the optimum environment for healthy child development. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Mayor and Town Council of the Town of Davie do hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Ms. Gomez.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, everyone here this evening. On behalf of the Children's Services Council of Broward County, thank you so much for your support and partnership to raise awareness for child abuse prevention, child abuse and neglect, and the protection of children. Thank you again.
Number 7 is Jazz Appreciation Month. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Here accepting it is the founder of the Davie Jazz Society, Michelle Hastings. Whereas Jazz Appreciation Month is celebrated every April in the United States in recognition of the significant contribution that jazz music has made to society. And whereas the Davie Jazz Society is a community volunteer group whose goal is to raise awareness of the impact music and arts offers to those with special needs, learning disabilities, mental health challenges, and drug addiction. And whereas the town of Davie has received letters from the Herbie Hancock Institute of Jazz acknowledging our continued support of International Jazz Day. And whereas Jazz Appreciation Month was declared by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization in 2011 to highlight jazz and its diplomatic role of uniting people from all over the world. And whereas Jazz Appreciation Month brings together communities, schools, artists, historians, academics, and jazz enthusiasts all over the world to celebrate and learn about jazz and its roots, raise awareness of the need for intercultural dialogue and mutual understanding, and reinforce international cooperation and communication. And whereas International Jazz Day is the culmination of Jazz Appreciation Month, which draws public attention to jazz and its extraordinary heritage throughout April. Each year on April 30th, this international art form is recognized for promoting peace, dialogue among cultures, diversity, and respect for human rights and human dignity, eradicating discrimination, fostering gender equality, and promoting freedom of expression. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Mayor and Town Council of the Town of Davie do hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Jazz Appreciation Month. Now, Shelley, you say a few words?
Good afternoon, evening, everyone. Daylight savings time springing forward here. It's still light outside, right? But I just want to say thank you to our lovely mayor and to our town. This is the 5th year that the Davie Jazz Society has been serving the town of Davie and Broward County. And last week, we had a chance to see one of the programs in action with the Pay Schools for Girls, where they're learning, they're thriving, and they're becoming future artists, changing our world. As long as you keep jazz in your heart, healing will always be our portion. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let's see. Now going into the public hearing portion of the meeting. Number 16 is an ordinance, second and final reading. Mr. Weinthal, would you, has Quasi been?
Yes, Mayor.
waived?
Quasi is waived on all items tonight.
Oh, okay. Would you read it by title, please?
Yes, Mayor. An ordinance of the Town of Davie, Florida, approving application VA 22-193 and issue Family Center, vacating a portion of Southwest 36th Street right-of-way, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, thank you very much. This is a public hearing. Anybody wish to speak for or against this may come forward at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any questions, comments by council? May I have a motion? I'm closing the public hearing. At this point, if you have no comments or questions, I'll ask for a motion.
Motion to approve
Second.
vacation of right-of-way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Don't cut me off.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Whitman,
Yes.
Councilmember Starkey,
Yes.
Councilmember Hatton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Paul,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. Okay. Now, I believe all the rest of the public hearing items are all, plus the 14 and 15 that we pulled from the consent agenda, all relate to Sunshine Gasoline. I think what I'm going to do is have a presentation made by staff and then by Sunshine Gasoline. Then I will call on anyone who wants to speak for or against. I'll give opportunity for some rebuttal back and forth. So, am I cool?
Yes, Mayor, you're
Okay.
good. And when the time comes, it's your prerogative, but number 18 is the 0 foot.
Right.
Do you want to vote on that one first when the time comes?
More than likely.
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. You doing the presentation?
David Quigley, Planning and Zoning Manager for Town of Davie. So just to recap these number of applications, Site Plan 18-262 is for a redevelopment of an existing gas station that has 8 fueling positions and a 722-square-foot convenience store. This project includes, was the parcel adjacent to it to the east, so it enlarges the parcel somewhat. Both parcels are Zone B2. The proposed development includes 16 fueling positions, a 2,960-square-foot convenience store, an automated car wash building, and 1 compressed air vacuum station. The gas station was originally constructed in 1978. I mentioned the zoning. This site plan has a number of other applications associated with it. There's number 15 is a plat 18-264. It incorporates, again, the 2 parcels plus the land proposed to be vacated along Orange Drive. 17 is the vacation of right-of-way for a portion of Orange Drive, which is larger than it needs to be to meet town requirements. Number 18 is variance 19-072. This concerns the minimum separation requirement between parcels with fuel pump islands or gas station uses from the nearest residential use, among other things. So that's the proposed variance from that. Number 19 is variance B20-168, which is to allow a 10-foot-high concrete wall along the east property line, similar to what's already established for Tijuana Taxi. The town code normally limits walls to 8 feet in commercial areas. Finally, at number 20 is a special permit to allow a outdoor air compression vacuum station. Normally, the town code prohibits almost all outdoor uses, with a couple of notable exceptions like motor vehicle fuel pumps, outdoor restaurant seating. This is one of the things that's not automatically exempted. That's why there's a proposed special permit to allow it. The proposed outdoor vacuum system is near University Drive. And just recall that the site plan at the Planning and Zoning Board, there was a recommendation for approval, and there was a number of proposed conditions involving landscape species and a couple of other design details. That failed. There was a second motion to deny, which passed. So just bear in mind that if the council votes to approve, you want to make sure to look at those Planning and Zoning Board conditions to see if any apply. It's my understanding that the applicant is not objecting to any of those conditions. And that's all I have for staff report. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
Okay, we'll come back to you more than likely. The applicant, would you like to make a presentation?
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilwomen. It's my pleasure to be here this evening on behalf of Sunshine Gasoline Distributors, Inc., and I've got a number of people with us this evening. In a moment, I'm going to ask Sandy Roos, who is with Sunshine Distributors, to come up and make a few brief comments. But we also have MDM Services, Inc., the consulting engineers, Paul Doss and Boris Belfer, who are here, and Rick Bartlett, landscape architect, who has done various renditions of landscaping, and Elizabeth Surikdisian with Police, and she Police is the surveying firm that has prepared the plat. We have a PowerPoint display, and we have all the time in the world. I think that in prior meetings there has been some confusion, and I found it somewhat interesting that MDM told me that they got their first number to start working on a redevelopment of this site. It's a 2016 number. And so they've worked off and on over the years on this site, and there's been an evolution of variations of how it would be laid out. For example, the car wash at one point they were proposing to put it over on the northeastern portion, and when talking with staff, they understood that it would be better to relocate it as far away from the residents as possible. But there are a lot of things that have transpired in the course of the process. We had 2 public meetings with the neighbors, actually in March of 2019. And coming out of that meeting, there was some additional landscaping that was put into the plan based on suggestions and comments. And I think that's where the 8-foot to 10-foot wall came out of that as well as a recommendation, and which is the subject of one of the variances this evening. As David pointed out, we did appear at P&Z, and there is a list of 5 items that were recommended to be included as conditions if the site plan is approved, and we have no objection to those and can go through those in detail as well. Additionally, although the plan you see tonight shows the generator pad over on the north side of the convenience store, we've agreed to relocate that to the south side of the convenience store, and that would be a change that would be made in deference to potential noise from a generator if one is necessary only when a hurricane has come and power is out. We met with the homeowners as recently as last evening with a small group here, and they are here this evening, and we don't have any resolution of the disagreements. We pleasantly had about an hour and a half conversation and have agreed to disagree, and hopefully you will look favorably upon our request. Rick Bartlett has actually prepared an additional enhanced landscaping plan over and above that which included the planning and zoning recommendations. So the final plan would be subject, obviously, to we're prepared to add additional increase landscaping on the east side of the property, on the east side of the wall. At this point, I'd like to ask Sandy Roos to come up, please, and just make a few comments, if you don't mind.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilwomen. I just want to say very briefly and for the record, I feel that, as you heard from Ed, the evolution of this idea when we bought this gas station, back in '09, and the evolution to rehabilitate it, redevelop it, has been long in the making. I feel we've hired all the professionals that really need to be on board to make this project not only responsibly, but also with the intention of being a good corporate citizen to the town of Davie, a good neighbor to our neighbors. I think all of you have driven by at some point, and hopefully the neighbors who know it very well. Once you see it just with your own eyes, you know it needs rehabilitation, it needs redevelopment. And so I think that we have displayed that we're not entering into this willy-nilly. We want to do this project in such a way to make the maximum amount of sense for the neighbors, for the town, and, to maximize a profit since, we're in a business. I mean, right now, I don't think it's a good thing for us, for you guys, for the neighbors. So with that being said, I think and I hope I've demonstrated to you on behalf of Sunshine that this is a project that I think needs to be considered and that we are undertaking with our utmost best in consideration with all the concerned parties. So I'll leave the technicalities to the experts.
Thank you, Sandy. Before I ask Paul Doss to come up to go through the PowerPoint presentation, I ask you to pay particular attention, not that you don't, to everything, but the MDM Services is not only are they with the Institute of Transportation Engineers, they're members of the Institute of Noise Control Engineering, and Boris Belfer, who's with us this evening, was a subcontractor to FDOT and was involved directly in designing the type of wall that's used by FDOT along interstates, and that's the kind of pattern in the wall that achieves great results with noise control. But moreover, there has been a sophisticated program input of the noise that's out there today, not only at the existing facility, but at Tijuana Taxi, and a model that assumes certain changes, and you'll see on the PowerPoint. But I'm pleased to tell you that although the residents were doubting Thomas's last evening when I said this, the decibel levels today are higher than will be when the site is redeveloped, fully redeveloped. And actually, Tijuana Taxi's decibel level is a little higher than Sunshine Gasoline's, but the code, as was alluded to earlier, permits 55 decibel levels during the day and 50 decibel levels in the evening. And this model shows that the noise generated from this redeveloped site is 39 and 42, up to 42 decibels. So well below the town's code requirements. So that's an important factor that I would ask you to recognize and consider as you deliberate on this. And I appreciate your time. Paul, if you'll come up.
Good evening. I'm Paul Doss with MDM Services, and I'll run through this presentation. If you could click to the next screen. Oh, I'm sorry. I've got it. Big one? Okay. Okay, we're going to kind of go through and do a kind of comparison of what's existing today versus what we propose. This is a photograph of the existing gas station, looking at it from the east side, looking west to University Boulevard. You can kind of see that on top of the canopy is air conditioning equipment that's kind of screened in but does have an opening in the back, and those are metal panels around that. So that existing air conditioner, you know, that's been factored into our noise study, as well as the on-site vacuums and air compressors for filling your tires. This is another photograph, kind of the same view, just further back. You can see the vacant lot at the bottom of the screen. You can see we've kind of highlighted some of the things that are existing on site. The existing underground tanks are on the east side of the existing gas station, and that's where the tanker truck pulls in and drops product. Under proposed conditions, we're moving the underground tanks up off of University, so it's further away from the residents. Tanker truck will be parked between the gas pumps and University to drop product. There's air vac here on the east side. Currently, that's going to be removed. The air vac will be only up on University under the proposed conditions. This is another photograph. You can see University Drive, the whole gas station site, the vacant lot behind, and then the pond of the residents behind us. Tijuana Taxis just off to the left, and you see the kind of yellow wall that separates Tijuana Taxi from the houses directly behind Tijuana Taxi. Also in the upper left corner of the gas station is where the trash enclosure sits. That's kind of close to the residents. That too is being moved south away from the residents. So when the garbage truck, comes in, you know, it's you know, further away, picking up the dumpster and dropping the garbage. And as you can see in this photo, we got two driveways on University. In between the two driveways is a grass strip. The green space buffer from the right-of-way line to the pavement is only about 5 feet under current conditions. Under proposed conditions, we're going to have 30-plus feet of green space. 30 feet, of course, is minimum buffer requirement per town ordinance. This is a rendering of kind of what the site would look like once it's developed, landscaping. One thing that's not shown in this little rendering is there is a 24-inch high to 36-inch high meandering berm that all the landscaping is planted on, so that raises all the foliage up and provides a little additional screening from the right-of-way. Again, this is a detailed site plan. The gray shaded area is the right-of-way vacation that we're requesting. Again, as mentioned earlier, the right-of-way that was proposed some years ago was much larger than what was needed for expansion, and therefore the town is in discussions, has agreed that they no longer need that property and want to give it back if it's approved here this evening. And you can see the also the convenience store as it sits east is to the top of your screen, north is off to the left. The convenience store is situated on the eastern porch or that vacant lot. And the fuel canopy is in a very similar location to where it is now. It is a little bit further east and a little bit further north, mainly because of the landscape buffers and such that are required along the right-of-ways. And the car wash is on the south side of the property, closer to Orange Avenue. And the 10-foot wall is 6 feet inside of our rear property line or east property line, so that landscaping can be planted on the resident side of that wall and help break up that wall, so it's not just a long blank wall exposed there to their view. Effects on traffic. Gas stations with convenience stores have unique economics of non-destination commercial retail, which relies on opportunity of capturing bypass trips, frontage visibility, accessibility, maneuverability, and convenience of making a spontaneous gasoline purchase, impulse sales on the way from and to home and work by local residents or by transit customers which are already on the road and visit the site because it's on their way and convenient, and such does not increase the existing traffic on the right-of-way. And this is through the FDOT, Broward County Transit, and other agencies. They've done numerous studies, and this is what they have concluded, that convenience stores, gas stations are not a destination source and do not increase traffic flow on the streets. They mainly capture traffic as it goes by. Site traffic. Currently, under existing condition, the site runs about 2.5 times over capacity, causing some roadway congestion. And what that's kind of alluding to is that due to the driveways and no turn lane and such, and the few pumps that we have under very prime hours of people normally gas up, the site can get congested. Cars have to slow down to about 5 miles an hour to turn into the driveways because there are no turn lanes, which can cause a backup in the street. Sometimes it causes people to slow down as they come through the intersection. Back when the site was designed, smaller tanker trucks equivalent to a WB-50 is typically what was used back then. And also underground tanks were typically smaller at that time because, you typically only had 2 to 4 gas pumps on a gas station. Under proposed conditions, we are planning to increase the number of the vehicle fueling positions and provide adequate reservoir for vehicle spaces on site per code. It's designed for newer vehicles, specifically, tanker truck, larger tanker trucks, what are now typically a WB62. And so, that is taken into consideration for maneuverability on site, for the tanker truck to enter and exit the site and drop product. Also, the site is designed and laid out so that the fire trucks, ladder trucks are able to maneuver on site, circulate, enter and exit the site. Offset Off-site traffic, currently under existing conditions, there's delays at both entrances on South University Drive, blocking or turning vehicles. This is what I mentioned a second ago about cars turning into the site, cars coming through the intersection, they're having to slow down. The bus stop, right now, there's no place for the bus to stop to pick up people except for in the through lane of University. So with the proposed design, we do have a turn lane. The bus can pull off to the side, allow traffic to continue to go by while it's picking up passengers. Under the proposed conditions, we're also, providing intersection striping and marking that all meet the current FDOT, MUTCD, Broward County Transit, and so forth. And the entire design of the turn lane, the turning radius, the driveways is all per Broward County Transit requirements. Oops, I'm back. I'll go back on this one. Yep. Okay, this is another photograph of the existing site. The red shaded areas in the roadway kind of illustrate. You can see where we've highlighted where the bus approximately would stop and pick up passengers, and how cars coming behind the bus would need to move over to bypass it, or they get totally stopped. And then the red off to the right there is the left turn lane going into the Walmart, so cars can back up there. So you can see it's kind of just congested at that area right now, the way everything is designed. Let's see. I'll move on. This drawing right here, this was provided to us from Broward County Transit. This is the design that they laid out, they provided to us, and that we have abided by and is illustrated in our drawings today. So this is all designed, as I said, by Broward County Transit and meets all of their current requirements. This is just a little bit of information for your knowledge. We've got the exhibit here that shows the Fort Lauderdale Airport, the airplane travelways, and the approximate location where the site is located. And with all the airplane traffic that is constantly flying overhead, per noise studies done and information out there from the airlines and transportation authorities, airplane going overhead generates about 60 decibels at ground level, which of course exceeds the noise levels by the ordinance for residential property. But that's just to give you a little bit of knowledge as we move forward and talk about the noises from the site. Site generated noises under existing conditions. We've got the old air compressor that's on the east side of the property. We have an air vacuum that's on the west side of the property off of University, the old AC unit that's on the roof that's surrounded by the metal panels. And it has, as I mentioned earlier, an access opening facing the east side of the property, which that panel up there kind of amplifies sound and projects it up, but also projects it eastward. Under proposed conditions, there'll be a dome-shielded air vac with noise-absorbing insulation and quiet motors, which that unit, again, is located off of South University Drive. The location of that, with the building on the east side, the wall on the east side, and all the heavy landscaping helps to create a sound buffer to help dampen the noise as it travels eastward. The AC unit will be on the roof of the building, but there are parapets that extend up above the roof line that totally surround the AC units again, and also there's no metal up there. It's all roofing material, vinyl roofing material on the which is more of a sound absorbing versus metal. It doesn't reflect sound, so that helps as well. At the car wash, the type of car wash equipment that is being installed, proposed, is newer equipment. The dryers will be on board and roll back and forth over the car, not situated right at the exit, you know, at a permanent location. So that sound as it moves back and forth, you know, it changes, you know, and also the new equipment is not as loud as some of the older equipment that's out there. And then, of course, the wall on the back is designed to absorb and reflect sound. And just the bottom paragraph there, advanced acoustics design was performed by a member of the Institute of Noise Control Engineering using state-of-the-art sound plan, essential noise propagation modeling software developed by specifically for engineers and architects and planners. That is the program that we use to create the noise study that we have. This is out of your ordinance. The residential line there shows you this 55 decibels, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 50 decibels, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Again, our noise studies show that we are under those decibels at the property line. This is an example of existing conditions. The kind of red stars that are on our site are the locations of what the noise generating equipment, the AC, the air compressor, the vacuum, and the house in the upper right hand corner is the first resident. You can see how the orange line goes right up to the house, and that currently is in the 50 to 55 range. This drawing right here, if you can see it, at the back corner of that house is around 54 decibels at that back corner of the house. That's under existing conditions as things are today. This is the proposed sound study, again showing all of the car wash, the AC on the roof, the vacuum air stand out off of University. And if you notice up by that house, it's all green now. It's down in the 40 to 45 or below 40 range, and you can see how the contours have changed where the wall is and where the building is, how the building shields that resident back there from the sound generated from things that are southwest on the property. This one here, if you look up at the house. I can't see that far back. Yeah, at the back corner of the house is down at 38.7, so we've greatly reduced the noise back there. And down at the south end of the wall, we're at 47. Again, we're under the 50 and 55 that's allowed by ordinance. And that is the highest reading along that wall, and that's primarily right there directly across from the exit into the car wash. So based upon the program that we're using, you can see that everything that we have proposed and done is complying with the current zoning ordinance as far as the sound noise at residential property. Lighting conditions, currently under existing conditions, as vehicles turn into the site, they can shine upwards towards, over towards the residential property. The existing light fixtures are older fixtures. A lot of the older fixtures hang down from the base of the light, so even though the light may not be brighter, it seems brighter because you can see it from the light bulb itself is exposed, or the lens is exposed. Under proposed conditions, of course, everything is new, meets codes, hurricane resistance, and so forth. The light fixtures are energy efficient. They're LED, they're flat lens, they point straight to the ground. Light from vehicles turning into the site is going to be blocked by the wall, by the building and all the landscaping. So that is a benefit to the residents, as they don't have headlights shining onto their property anymore. And the 90 degrees, no backlight fixtures, again, that just means that they're flat fixtures that shine straight down to the ground. Environmental concerns that have been brought up, over the course of past meetings, mainly in regards to the car wash and to the underground tanks. Under existing conditions, we got old storage tanks. Their life expectancy is pretty much up. It's time for them to be replaced. There's the older multi-product dispensers are on site. The old vent stack that's located on the eastern side of the property. There is some known contamination on site. I don't have all the information as far as the levels and all that, but it's not a high contamination. If the sources were existing contamination was threatening groundwater or people, there would be remediation. The state would require remediation equipment be brought in to recycle the groundwater and clean up the site and filter out those contaminants. Under proposed conditions, when we come in, the old tanks will be pulled. They're thoroughly emptied. They're thoroughly cleaned. All contaminants, all gasoline, diesel fuel, everything is completely removed. And prior to them being pulled out of the ground, once they're out of the ground, they're hauled off to appropriate approved landfill to be disposed of. Any contaminated soil that is excavated from the site during construction, that soil, depending on the levels of contamination, is typically hauled off a site to an appropriate landfill where it gets incinerated. It is not reused or on site as backfill. It gets removed. So again, redeveloping the site will help clean the site up and remove contaminated soil. The new tanks are double-wall tanks, leak detection. All of that is electronically monitored and controlled. New dispensers, of course, new vents and so forth. And again, the new tanks will all be located up on the western side of the site, up off of University. The car wash system will include a reclaim system. It recycles the used water. So part of your car is being washed with recycled water. And so it limits the amount of fresh water that's used per wash because we're recycling water. 2 1,500-gallon reclaim tanks are installed in the ground that capture and recycle the water. Downstream from the reclaim tanks is a 750-gallon oil water separator. So typically only a small amount, maybe a gallon or two per car, might be discharged and go into the sanitary sewer system. But as it leaves the reclaim system, it is filtered through an oil water separator. And again, everything is per code. All regulatory agencies that are involved review plans, et cetera. The city reviews, the county reviews. So everything is done per code, current code and criteria. Drainage, currently the vacant lot, there's no drainage system there, so all the water that's on that lot, sheet flows off into the residential pond. And the existing site has got what they refer to as soakage pits, which are pretty much no longer allowed to be used anymore. So the entire underground drainage system will be totally redone, meeting today's criteria in treating stormwater runoff before any discharge to the canal. Again, that's just another photo of the existing site showing the sheet flow from the vacant area down to the residential pond. The little green squares on here are the existing soakage pits that exist on site today. Again, this is kind of a repeat of this is the proposed drainage plan. You can see contouring in the landscape areas. That's the berm that I mentioned before. The roadside swale that's in the right-of-way off of Orange Drive. The dark dotted lines running around the site, those are the underground exfiltration trenches. So all stormwater is routed through underground exfiltration trenches, and water quality is treated and so forth. so forth before any discharge into the street drainage system. Landscaping, you saw by the photos that we have that there's very minimal landscaping on site now. I mentioned about that between the driveways off of University, there's only about a 5-foot landscape strip. So proposed conditions, everything is done per city code requirements, all the plant material, the required buffers and so forth. And we've gone above and beyond trying to answer and add plant material as requested by residents and staff members to help enhance the property even more and screen the property from the residents. This is a kind of a color drawing of the site plan showing all the landscaping that's proposed. The kind of brownish line on the top side of the drawing is the wall on the east side of the property. So, you can see, by this, the site will be very heavily landscaped in comparison to what is there today. Hardscaping, there's no wall now between the gas station and the residents. We're proposing that, and we're going to 10 foot high at the request of the residents. This is a rendering of the wall. The middle picture is the view from the store where the 4 palm trees are in the middle is actually where a convenience store would be at. The bottom rendering is looking at the wall from the residential side. And of course, as mentioned earlier, we have increased some of that plant material, the height of some of the bushes, and made a few changes to even enhance that even more than what we previously have submitted to the city as trying to again, in response to some of the residents' concerns about that they, don't really want to see that wall there, even though it's more of a decorative wall. So we're, going out of our way to try to heavily landscape that for the residents. Crime prevention, the redeveloped site will be a little more inviting for first responders, a nicer C-store where they can stop in, grab a bite to eat, a drink, a snack or something. There'll be much better lighting, security cameras around the site, modern building design. The dumpster has a back entrance, so you're not, in order to dump garbage from the convenience store, you're not having to open up the big gates and make everything, the dumpsters visible, from the passing traffic. And the bathrooms are inside the stores in the surrounding area. This is kind of a rendering of the proposed building, the convenience store and the car wash. We have some stone features on there, some little columns, earth tone colors. All of this has been looked at, reviewed by the city staff, and as far as I know, there's no issues. Everything meets code requirements, and I guess that was the last one. So with that, I guess I'll wrap it up. And thank you.
Thank you. I apologize. I didn't tell Paul to quickly run through the PowerPoint. No, I'm just teasing. At this point, Madam Mayor, in deference to the residents, I think we'd like to just reserve the opportunity to come back and respond, and we appreciate your time.
And that's what I had said before. All right, this is a public hearing. Anyone that wishes to speak for or against this item can come forward. Please state your name and address, and if you filled out a form, make sure that the clerk has it. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Jose Pezo, 4341 Southwest 78th Drive, Davie, Florida. As you all know, that's my house there in the picture. I'm here for you to please vote against this project. Simply, it's too large. That loading zone on the north side of the retail store would be a huge problem for me and my family because it's right near my house. I also want to bring up a point about the Tijuana taxi. It's a family oriented restaurant. It's not a sports bar. People don't go there to watch the big game. They close at midnight. It dies down at 10. You're talking about a 24/7 gas station where people will come all hours of the night with loud exhaust, honking their horns. Me and my family don't need to be around that. We didn't buy this house. We wouldn't have bought this house if we had this gas station right in our backyard. It's a noise nuisance. It would be a noise nuisance. It would be air pollution that my family and I would have to suffer through. And you can't put us through that. You simply cannot put us through that. We are entitled to enjoy our home. So I'm asking you, please vote against this gas station. It's too big. Plain and simple, it's too big. Okay, there's a reason why, if you're starting a new gas station, that they require a 250-foot distance from the closest residence. So you're talking about 0 feet? Come on. You can't do that. So please, I'll ask again, have compassion for me and my family and reject this project. Thank you.
Any veterans here? We have a veterans breakfast, third Tuesday of the month at 09:30.
Bruce,
Here in the building.
Bruce, there's a line there to speak. Just get online
I'm going to the end.
and just wait your turn, please. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jessica Mackey. I'm a resident nearby the gas station. As you know, a few of us did hold our meeting with the gas station representatives after Councilmember Hatton suggested we speak to them to propose alternatives, and we listened to you. We suggested several alternatives, and the response we got was that this gas station wasn't going to change a single thing in their site plan to help the homeowners. Not only that, I walked out of that meeting feeling as if I had been slapped in the face. It didn't go well. Councilmember Starkey, on February 1st, you indicated one of the reasons you supported reconsidering the gas station applications is because they were willing to withdraw their application and bring it back at a later date, which showed that they were willing to listen to the council members, to your concerns, and the community. You said you believed they would propose something better. Guess what? They haven't. You considered them in good faith, and they did not have good faith. And to remind you all, we're not opposed to the gas station renovations. We're not even fighting the fact that they're doubling the number of pumps. What we need is no car wash and more space between our homes and the gas station. The owner bought the vacant lot knowing that it shouldn't be a gas station because it's right next to our homes. And if you're curious about some of the alternatives that I proposed, or that we proposed, here are a few. Last night we proposed, please take out the car wash. They said no. We also proposed for them to reorient the car wash so that the blow dryers wouldn't be facing our homes. They said no. We proposed that they give us more than a 6-foot separation. They said no. And by the way, a 6-foot distance is the width of a sidewalk. That strip of land is so small that they didn't even propose to plant any trees between their wall and our home. The trees that were shown in their rendering are our trees that are on our retention pond area. They're not the ones that they're planting. We also proposed that they take all the green space that's surrounding the plot, the area, and then move it so that it's next to us. And that could be the buffer we need. They'll still have the same area they can develop, the same square footage. And anyways, why are we giving a landscaping buffer to Orange Drive and University Drive? There isn't anyone who lives there, aside from the few that might live under the bridge or on the bus stop. If you shift all the pretty plants to face our community, it would actually be a useful buffer. And I hope in the future you'd consider allowing an exception for the setback requirements, because I know they have to put that for the setback, but give us the buffer. Why does Orange Drive need it? By the way, your city already has a great framework for this kind of urban design in the Griffin Corridor District. If you lived in our neighborhood, you would hate what we've been going through and what we might have to live with in the future. I bought this home knowing that there was a small gas station nearby, not a mega station with a car wash facing my home. This is going to hurt our property values. And let me remind you that your city also generates revenue from our taxes. I know this gas station owner is telling you that this process has been hurting their business, but you don't need to feel sorry for her. She owns over 400 gas stations. A car wash for her is pennies in her pocket. A car wash for us is something that would destroy our community.
That's all right. You can continue.
Property values, I'm at the end, and my right to enjoy the home that I purchased. They haven't shown that they cared about us, so please vote no. Thank you.
Carol, please. You're talking.
Philip St. Arnaud, 7776 Southwest 43rd Court.
So I stand before you to express my stance on the Sunshine Gas Station expansion. First, I'd like to let you know I'm not against a new and improved gas station. However, where I have a problem with this expansion is how big and noisy this gas station will become, disrupting our community and impacting our quality of life. Sunshine Gas Station could easily change the design of their site plan with a much bigger buffer zone instead of only a 6-foot separation. They could also include a much better green wall instead of just an ugly concrete wall with a few shrubs to minimize the impact of the sound and the looks of it. The car wash will be a big source of noise. Why not consider locating it closer to University Drive or simply removing it from the expansion proposal? As a reminder, as I speak right now, 55 decibel is about what it sounds. I doubt that a car wash sounds like me. Last thing I would like to add, that the variants were originally turned down and somehow reconsidered after a closed-door meeting between Sunshine Gas Station and the City of Davie Council members. This shows exactly why the general population doesn't trust their politician, and you should all be ashamed of that, of reconsidering this at the first place. Your number one duty is to represent the community and your constituent, not a big company that already owns 400 gas stations. This expansion will have no benefit to our community. Sure, it will bring a little more money for tax dollars to the town of Davie, but our community will never see any of it, have no benefit, and our quality of life will be impacted forever. Please vote no. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Linda Flack. I'm a resident here. And I was listening to
Can I
the
have your address?
presentation, 4312 Southwest 78th Drive, in Davie. I was listening to the presentation as well as I was informed by some of our neighbors of what's happening. And clearly, the gas station refurbishment, you know, like everything has to be done. But I'm curious, hearing the presentation, they did a lot of research in all of these studies. Where's the study for the contamination? The contamination study they didn't have time for. That was an interesting part, I thought. And on the presentation too, it shows the area very congested with the bus stop. University Drive is very congested, and the buses stop every day in the line of traffic. So the two cars that were shown on that study is kind of humorous, but the contamination study is very serious, and I think it needs to be proposed here, as well as refurbishing a gas station is fine, but why does it have to be expanded at the same time? Refurbishing is fine. Expanding at our expense is not fine. And why do they need more land for refurbishing their gas station? They have their own land. You're going to provide them with land and give them a 0-foot easement or whatever you want to call it. I don't think that's right. I wouldn't propose them, I wouldn't give approval for them to be changing anything as far as encroaching on anyone else's property. And the noise, the contamination, a lot of these things does impact the people that live there. And furthermore, we live here. They don't live here. We voted for you. We're Davie residents. They didn't vote for you. They're not here for you. We are. And you're here for us. So please support us, the community, and please vote against this. It was shut already, so hopefully it will remain that way. Thank you.
Hi, group. I'm back. Ms. Mayor, Bruce Novak, 4262 Southwest 78 Drive. Do you want to go through the hazmat thing again, since you happened to bring it up about the contamination of the products?
If you want to give some new information, that would be okay.
Well, she mentioned the hazmat situation. You know, you got the pavement and everything sitting there, and everything can wash off of it into the ground. Chemicals and everything out of the car wash should be self-contained, but you may have a leakage somewhere, and the chemicals are in the soil. So that's the hazmat part. I speak for pretty much myself and maybe Orangewood, because we're pretty much the only ones that are involved in this remodeling of their property and the addition of many different things to the property. The 250 feet that we're facing here, I understand, 1990 was when I think that was put into effect. And when they put in the 30 houses, somebody should have been aware that maybe lot 30 and 29 shouldn't be there because you got the 250 foot between houses and businesses, and they were there already. American Gas was already there. So when that was given for 30 lots, if that was the distance, then those 2 lots should have been put on there. But it was built anyway, and we're stuck with that 250-foot problem. So that's all I have to say. I mean, everything else is said, and you've heard it. It's up to you to do what you want to do. But those are the concerns of us in the perimeter of the circle around the property. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I still think they're clean.
Oh, Lord. Good evening. This is easy peasy. I'm old school.
Your name and address, please.
Therese Johnson at 4272 Southwest 78 Drive. Lot number 6. And there he goes again. One question. I'd like to know how you all would vote if this was going behind your homes, your bedrooms, your grandchildren's bedrooms, an elderly parent you might be taking care of. How would you vote then? I'd like to ask everybody in this room how they would vote if it was going behind their home. That's all. Thank you.
Myrna Morales, 4332 Southwest 78th Drive. I'm going to back on what she just said. How would you feel if this was happening in your neighborhood? I heard, well, when you bought your house, there was a gas station there. Yes, there was. It's a small station. It's not a wannabe Wawa or bigger than Wawa. I don't know. We haven't seen what it's actually going to look like at the end. We don't need that traffic. We don't need that noise. When we moved in, there was a burger joint where Tijuana Taxi is now. It was quiet. They had a drive-through. They didn't sell alcohol. Nobody hung out outdoors. We have to deal with the noise. I live in across from Jose's house. I'm lot 1. I can hear noise from Tijuana Taxi in the middle of the night. Horns. There's nights where kids are out there. You can hear them, obviously college kids. You hear the noise. No matter how big the wall is, no matter how much greenery you put there, noise travels. So I can only imagine how much noise this car wash is going to be. Is the car wash going to run 24 hours? Is it going to be shut down at certain hours? Are we going to have to hear it all the time? 24 hours. Is that fair to us?
We'll give them an opportunity to...
We, like everybody says, we're not telling them not to update it, renovate it. But I think they're asking a bit much. Also, giving up that Greenland that we have, that variance. I believe one time it was called, you wanted to maintain a green corridor along Orange. You have tried to do it. I don't understand why the council members don't want to. I don't understand what happened that made the 2 council members that were against it all of a sudden vote to change their minds. I don't get it. Thank you for standing up for us. The rest of you, I'm sorry you're letting us down.
Good evening. My name is Nellie Murray, 4311 Southwest 78 Drive, Davie, Florida. I'm here to inform about yesterday's meeting with the council members of the Sunshine Gas Station. As you council member suggested, we tell you, we tried to talk, but unfortunately, the representatives of the Sunshine Gas Station let us know that the first day we request the variance 0 feet, and the site plan will remain as it was previously presented to the town of Davie, January 18, when he was denied it. We requested yesterday the possibility to remove the car wash service from the site plan and remind the entry to the gas station that face Orange Drive at the current location that placed approximately 7 cars apart from our neighborhood enter. The new proposal site brings the new enter to approximately only 4 cars apart. And in hurricane season, when the people make lines to fill their cars, we block our only enter slide exit from our neighborhood because the near distance. The solution that the engineer from the Sunshine Gasoline proposed is that we're not supposed to leave our neighborhood in emergency. It's clear no consideration was displayed and no willingness to understand or negotiate in good faith. For all that I explained before, please, I request to vote no for the variance, and please wait first for the changes in the site plan that suppose willing to compromise. Is that? Thank you.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak? Okay. Yes, sir. And then I will give the residents the opportunity to rebut if they wish to.
Thank you. Ed Stacker. Again, this is not intended to be rebuttal. I'm actually, well, maybe it is a little bit. Jessica Mackey's comment personalized it as she left last evening. I was most disappointed in that because although they're adjacent and we're asking for significant changes, we were trying to explain to them that the decibel level study is a reality. It's not manufactured and made to order. And there are a couple of points I want to make. One of them is that this property, the entire parcel is a B2 parcel. We could have gone in a year ago and changed the folio to combine the two into one, but Sunshine Gasoline acquired this 1.2, or these 2 lots. It will wind up being about 1.2 acres in 2008, at the end of 2008. And they have operated this facility for 15 years, and they're saying now we want to redevelop it and we want to incorporate the piece that has been B2 ever since we bought it to the east. Everybody knew that. And I'm not trying to be unsympathetic to backing up to a situation, but I think the perception is worse than the reality. With all of the enhancements that are going to be made, this is a win-win for the town of Davie. It's hard to have a parade and celebrate a service station being redeveloped on a corner, but it is a prime corner. It is an eyesore. It's in need of redevelopment, and Sunshine is committed to do it and to do it right. There are uses, perhaps, that could be done to the east without redeveloping. And I don't want to get into that. It's not a threat by any stretch of the imagination, but to believe that a B2 lot on the corner of Orange Drive and University Drive today should remain open and undeveloped is perpetuating a fiction. And we request you to consider and look favorably upon the applications. Thank you, and I'll be happy to answer if you all have any specific questions when you get to it. Thank you very much.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Okay, now what I'm going to do... Yes. Yes, you could.
Hello, Jessica Mackey. So regarding the sound study and the modeling, I just want you to also consider that the graphic that they showed you did not show the entire extent of how we would hear it along the entrance of our neighborhood, and a lot of us do take walks there. It was a very zoomed-in graphic that they had that only showed immediately surrounding the gas station. And also, I want you to know that I can hear noise from the people that are out there on Saturday mornings next to Publix. I can hear it all the way from my backyard, which is by the retention pond. So I know noise travels incredibly farther than what the models might guess. And models can be tweaked by the experts to provide the results that they want. I work in modeling too. I know how things work. You could put garbage in and garbage can come right out as well. And they're also just a guess as well. That may not be the reality that we face after this is implemented. I mean, have you been to a car wash? The dryers are tremendously loud. They're like thunder. They are crazy loud. They could hurt your ears if you're there long enough. So please consider the noise, as it would greatly impact us very much. Thank you so much.
Okay. I think it's an opportunity for us to make some comments and to ask some questions if we have any. I really don't know how to approach this and say it, but, you know, basically what's being said here is that we're telling the residents what's best for them with this plan. This is best for you. You know, we have other situations where government is telling us what is best for us, and we don't particularly care for it. So we can't fault the residents for wanting to have peace and quiet as much as possible. And we talked about this before, and I even mentioned it to, and I have to say and declare that I did speak with the owner and the attorney, and I did speak on several occasions to the residents and attended the little HOA they had the other evening. So that is my declaration of my meetings with the parties. But it's very difficult. No matter how beautiful it might be, this is probably a really great plan someplace else. It's probably a great project, but not flush against a residential community. We are always trying to have a buffer. Whenever we do anything, we're always looking to make a buffer to protect the residents. And I'm going to mention something that Ms. Roos, you mentioned in our meeting, that if the residents really didn't want this, and tell me if this is not the truth, that you wouldn't do it, that you'd walk away and wait, because I had asked to do some more things with electric chargers, and you said, well, maybe in 5 years there'll be a more known about them, and it would be easier for us to include that. You said, I'm making money now. I can still make money. Am I correct that you said that? Yes, thank you. So, you know, there is the possibility that if we denied this, she's still going to have her gas station and she's going to continue to run it. She may decide to do a few upgrades. That's up to her. But I also indicated to the residents, if she should decide to sell, and this is, you know, she sells the whole property and it's B2, you have to know that something else might come that might be worse. But I think we have to protect our residents. That's what we were hired to do. And we have that separation for a purpose. I could start pulling in a lot of different things of why I'm opposed to this. No matter what you say that you're going to do or how wonderful it's going to be, you can't do any of it without that variance for the 250 feet, negating that. And we know, and I even said that in the meeting, I know that if you had come up with a different plan and made some changes, we know that at some point in time we would have had to pass that, but I wasn't willing to do it unless I knew there was going to be something, an alternative. And at that meeting, you also said, both Mr. Coker and Ms. Roos, we're not going to change anything. We need this the way it is in order to make money based on the amount that we're going to invest in it. And that's understandable. I don't deny you. You're right as a business person to make money. But in this particular case, we have a clear-cut path to deny this with denying that variance. And this is what I think that we need to do. Remembering that the Planning and Zoning Board denied it, and I think they did their homework. It was a lively meeting. And as far as the site-generated noise, the decibel levels saying that they'll be lower, you know, it's like the old salesman saying, trust me, it'll be okay. If I approved this, and after it was done, there were problems and noise, I would feel terrible. Because that's what I said the last time. If you have any questions or you have any concerns, it's easier to deny it and fix it than to accept it and have to live with the problems, if they occur, forever. And that's always been my basis of my making decisions. And maybe at some point, if they decide not to do anything, or if we deny this variance for the 250 feet, they may decide that, well, maybe we can make some changes. Maybe we can do something different. Other things that concern me is, with the bus pullout right now, the corner of Orange Drive and University right there is the only place, if we have horses transversing Orange Drive to go west, it's difficult enough for them to get across the road. Sometimes when we have large groups, they have to have a police officer with them to stop traffic so they can all get across the road. But having that green area there for them to stand and wait for the traffic so they can get across is very important. And then that bus pull-out thing is perhaps going to interfere with that.
Madam Mayor, may I make just a couple of more comments briefly?
I have to allow you to, but go ahead.
Well, two things. First of all, what Sunshine has invested in this is a time and a commitment to the town at large to clean up a very tired site. And I think what Sandy Roos was saying to you is that if you can't balance the interests of the town at large and the aesthetics and the environmental enhancements and all of the improvements on this location because of the neighbors adjacent, then yes, vote no. But we're not asking you to, we're here tonight. We feel very comfortable with the study. Somebody can say all they want about noise, but what we have to go by is your code and studies that are made with state-of-the-art software. They're not made-to-order studies. And I think it's not as simple. I do think that the town should be looking towards the opportunity for someone for a property owner who is a service station operator to redevelop and upgrade with all of the enhancements.
Okay. And I think that Ms. Roos did say to me, if the residents don't want this, we won't do it.
If you don't want to vote for it, then don't. I mean, yeah, the town, if the town and the residents don't want it, then don't vote for it. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be argumentative. I just wanted to clarify.
So,
I am? No.
and I'm trying to be very polite. What was that?
No,
I had called, someone else spoke, so. He was answering what my comments were. Again, I just cannot, in good faith, vote against my residents. And there are a zillion other things that I have to bring out that I could. One of them is the wall. Has anybody seen the wall around the new development across the street that we allowed because the residents wanted it? Yeah. It's terrible, I think. It looks like...
The residents wanted it.
I know, but I'm saying, I don't think they realized what it was going to look like. And it's not, that close to their homes. It's part of the entranceway into, along the roadway. And it goes back a little bit. But and the other thing is, too, people asked for walls, along I-75. And even today, they say, the wall is... keeps the air from moving. It doesn't eliminate the noise because the noise goes over the wall. And what happens is the people a little further away get impacted even more because of the fact that the noise travels. But I will ask some other questions as we move forward, depending on what we have. But I just felt that I had to say that I work for the residents.
Mayor, can we hear from the council member whose district it is?
Yes, I am calling on everybody.
Okay.
Carol didn't have her hand up, but Susan did.
I was just waiting for you. She was ahead of me, but I was just waiting for
Would you like to go first?
She could go first.
Thank you. First of all, I take offense with Philip in the way he presented and saying that the town council was doing backroom deals. We followed our procedures. Everyone in council knows the process and procedure in our town code, that if something wants to be reconsidered, it can be. And that's how you do it. That's the Robert's Rules of Order. That's also in our town code. And we did no backroom deals. And for disclosure's purposes, which I always do too, I did meet with staff on this issue. I've also met with the applicant's attorney and the owner of the properties. I've read all the emails. They are very redundant, and we understand how you feel. We've listened quite a bit to what you wanted to say. We've given a lot of opportunities for you to express several issues: noise, pollution, the car wash. We also looked at the time of operations, so I think that that might be something we can also consider. For the car wash, there was a mention by Jose that the car wash would be 24 hours. Again, sir, you're incorrect. It's not. It's not a 24-hour car wash. So a lot of the information that sometimes you all repeat to each other has been incorrect.
Excuse me?
Excuse me,
You're out of
that's
order.
very rude.
You're out of order.
I didn't interrupt you when you spoke, young lady, so please.
That's not
don't interrupt
necessary,
me.
Susan. She's just
No, I
out
mean,
of order.
They insulted many of us here, and, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. And so we're trying very hard in reconsidering this, and that's why we did it. So you did have an opportunity to listen and to actually hear what was going on with the process and the whole project itself, and to look at the additional landscaping that's been added. There has been opportunities. They moved a lot of things around from the original when it even first came to our staff's attention. There's been modifications to this. So, we're looking at a lot of these things. The gas station has been there. This is a major corridor, University Drive. The gas station has always been B2. The property next to that has always been B2 when they purchased that. So when you bought your properties, just like when I buy my property or I sell homes for living for many years, we always looked at what was the surrounding land uses or what the future land use might be. And you always had that in consideration, or you should, whenever we buy properties or investment properties. Similarly with the gas station, when they bought that B12 parcel next to, they had intentions of improving somewhere down the line. And that's their option. They came before us. There's times when, Mayor, with all respect, you voted against the Sheridan House. And that Sheridan House, and you were representing the neighbors at that time, and you know, your heart, what a great project that turned out to be. So many of the residents who were opposed to that one project at one point in time had come to me many times, because I represented that area, telling me, thank you. They are great neighbors. My concerns on this project right from the get-go was to modernize the building, to make sure that it was green and safe and clean. Not just clean from an aesthetics point of view, although that's very nice, but clean from an environmental point of view. And when you look at the studies, many of you brought up those issues before, both in your emails as well as in your public comments. Those environmental studies and those fact that they're putting in new modern equipment has meant that it is going to be a cleaner and more green gas station. So there's a lot of things to consider when you look at all the pollution. There's going to be less pollution. When you look at a lot of the studies that talked about the noise, we looked at the noise decibels. You looked at, Jose, your house is 38.7 at your residence at the corner already. Yet at the corner where we're talking about this variance, it's only 35.7. It's less. It's less noise at that gas station corner of the northeast corner than it is on your corner. Also with Tijuana Taxi, it's 52. It exceeds the noise decibels. So when we looked at the study of the noise, you can argue it all you want, but I don't think you have certificates in noise or noise studies. Neither do I. I rely on the experts. I rely on the studies. Whatever project we're looking at, we have to rely on the experts, the engineers. That's what they do for a living. That's why I value their opinion and their testimonies. We follow the process through. It does go to P&Z. They look and evaluate. They've made 5 recommendations. Those recommendations were made, but yet, yes, it was ultimately denied. And I understood that. I read those comments. In addition, they've added additional landscaping. Part of the noise, the testimony from the gentleman with the noise study from DMD, the engineer said that it's not just a wall that buffers the sound. It's also the landscaping that will do the same. I mean, you know, I know it's a silly analysis, but if you scream in a pillow, you know that it muffles a sound. A berm and landscaping also does the same. For a wall, it does hit and cascade over. So without the landscaping, it would cascade over. But it would cascade over directly east, not and then spread out. We have noise decibels with the airport, and I'm glad you brought that up. The decibels that we've been following on the airport noise and the traffic has been horrendous all over our town. And no matter where you live, I know folks that live out on Flamingo Road and tell me that the noise decibels sometimes could be really, really bad. We do the best we can, but guess what? We all bought in an airfield, right on the airstrip. I did too. So I have to live with those things. And, you know, if I don't, I have options, and that's to sell or move. Although I think we've done an amazing job in Davie. And if you look at the progress that we've made, we've balanced very well, I think, over time. We've balanced our green, our environmental, we've balanced our developments, and I think we've done a very good job with that. Some things are beyond our control. We can't do much about the traffic. It's not Davie's traffic. Most of the license plates that go through Davie are going through Davie, not so much of our density. It's a lot of people all around us. So I've listened very carefully. I sympathize. I really do. But I also think that what you've listened to was a lot of frustrations on your part and not really the engineers giving you the facts or the environmental studies or the other studies that had actually been done or the improvements that will be made. My concerns when I met with the developer is also about the car wash. The car wash is on the south side. I said, is there any way to add additional sound attenuation so it muffles the sound a little better? And also, can we also restrict the time so that there is no car washes, say after 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, whatever would be best. I'll listen to the rest of my council for recommendations. But I don't think that they should be all night, and I never did. And they were willing to do restrictions on that. The light also, the light that spills over. We have a great night sky ordinance. So that night sky won't pollute everybody else. So it has to be on the site. And that's an improvement for a lot of safety reasons. The bathrooms added inside, the convenience store, I think are an improvement. An old, tired, polluting gas station is going to be upgraded and improved, I hope. And I did hope that we could come up with some other things that would have helped, but I see that these are the things that I think I've made notes of that are the best that we could possibly do. Also, the new the new vacuum cleaners are supposed to be on an as-need basis, not like the old ones. So the sound is supposed to be a lot less on those new vacuum cleaners. And those are going to be also at the south side, away from the residents. So I mean, as far as the noise is concerned, that's one of the biggest things in the environment, and I'm all for building clean and green throughout Davie to try to keep our environment more sustainable as we go forward. So at this time, I would be supporting the project.
Thank you, Mayor.
Your district?
Yes. Just for clarity, I did meet with the owner, the attorney, the residents. I've really thought a lot about this. And change is never easy. People don't like change. And I think this site has been, especially tonight, I thought it was a very good presentation in a general way of what they've done. I think they've done sound. I've done my research. They've never had a code violation, this gas station company. They've never had a code violation since they've been there. That they're a family run, and don't tell me I'm on their side. I'm just telling you facts that I found out as I researched things. They're a family run organization. They're not a maybe make a lot of money, but they are a family run organization. They run every gas station independently, like it was an independent organization. I do have some questions about the car wash. It would not be 24 hours a day. Am I correct? The gas station is not open 24 hours a day.
The convenience store is the car wash.
Right, okay. So, and the other question I have is delivery times. Like when would someone question the delivery times? When would they be coming, making noise, delivering things? I believe that could be adjusted to be within a reasonable time.
There's no response unless
Mayor,
you come
can
to the
we
mic.
ask?
I'm sorry.
Yes, can we ask that they come to the
I'm sorry.
microphone,
Respond, you
please?
have to come to the mic.
Ed, you can do it. Mr. Stack,
That way, because the record has to...
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. So, like the delivery things of the gas, of the things for the store, of the trucks. I mean, we had that with Walmart. They want to know when are they going to come and they're going to disturb and make sounds and noise.
Well, we do hire a third-party carrier, so we can try to put restrictions on it, and for the most part, I would say it's viable. However, during times of emergency or allocations and stuff, it could be at any time of the day or night.
Well, that would be an emergency. In general, I'm saying during the...
But even emergencies that are not fully declared, like sometimes there's backlogs at the port, and so if it...
Well, that's
But
emergency.
I would say comfortably 80% of the time, we could fall within a delivery window restriction. Just remember also, when it does happen at night, I mean, unloading is not a loud thing, and, I would, offer anyone to go and see when a truck unloads. It's literally a hose in the ground. There's no noise generated. But it's safer, and when the truck is not around, it's actually goes faster. So, I mean, just food for thought.
And I researched about the environmental things, that the new wraps that you use around your tanks and the digging up, and what was presented tonight about not having soil and not having water recycled, and that's going to contaminate the ground with chemicals and such. I believe that was answered to my satisfaction, that it's not going to happen.
No, right now, what happens is they're very old tanks underground, and so they're like metal, slight corrosion, so, please don't believe for one single second there's any fuel leaking into the ground. That is not what's happening. However, just for longevity underneath the ground, there is what is considered contamination. It's metal under the ground that's not really supposed to be there. When we dig it up, and I think Paul had referred to it, there's a very, very specific and very monitored process where you excavate the soil for many, many feet around what we call the tank farm.
Okay.
So before the environmental protection from the state of Florida gives us any kind of green light, it actually even has to remain open and air out, and there's very finite and very precise protocols for cleaning up the soil.
Okay, thank you. The other thing that I was researching was if Ms. Roos decides not to continue with her project, and I think it desperately needs to be fixed. The corner is a mess. I mean, just to represent Davie, it looks, nothing personal, it looks terrible. It's old, it needs to be revived, it's a mess. I looked into if they decided to keep the station the way it is and sell off the property that used to be the antique store, the property you got next door. I looked into what could be there if it was sold to some people, to other people. And there's a whole list of things that are approved for that piece of property without any variance needed, that someone could just go in and build whatever they want. And those things were antique shops, athletic, art gallery, banks, financial, bakery, delicatessen, barber shop, bars and lounges, bingo establishments, bookstores, bowling, skating, car wash, catering, contractor, convenience store, dance halls, florist, plant shop, gift shops, mortuary and funeral services, office equipment sales, parking lot, rental, personal services, photographic studio, plant nursery, pool room, printer, real estate office, repair shop, except for vehicles and boat repair, restaurant, fast food, restaurant, other, retail sales, sales office, studios for art and music, and wholesale properties. These are the things that if Ms. Roos decides to sell that property, if she wishes to, and I'm not threatening or anything, I'm just letting you know, it's just information, could move in there and need no variance, need nothing, just come right in and build what they want and open up what they want. Could have another Tijuana taxi next door. That's just the facts. That's just what we allow.
I'm sorry, did you mention car wash?
Oh, yeah, did I? Yeah, I thought I did. Yeah, and a car wash. An independent car wash can go in there, like we have on University down south. So I'm just letting you know, that if the plan is good and if they seem to be taking into consideration everything for the residents, change is tough and it's difficult. And I think they've covered all of their bases. I really do. And I think you could go after them afterwards. If it's not working, we have codes that if they should not follow a code of somewhere in some kind for you, it can be reported and we can do something about it. So I think for all those reasons, I would vote yes on the project. Thank you.
Michelle?
I just want to say that I spent a lot of time at that site at all different times of the night, at 2 a.m., and during the day, just sitting on the site and watching all the activity that was taking place there. I've also been to other sites of gas stations and watched when their gas deliveries were, how loud it was, the deliveries of for the store, for the car washes, vacuum systems, the garbage trucks. So we've all done a little bit of research on all this. I'm not an expert on construction. I'm not an expert on all these studies. But I tried to look at it as a resident. I know one of you had said something about would I live there. Yes, I would live there. I have no issues with living up with my back door or my backyard being right up against it. The place is in despair. It does need an upgrade. So I've also looked at it as the business owner. If I was the business owner, I'd want the biggest bang for my buck. As a resident, I look at that, all the aspects of it, and again, like I said, I would live there. I would love to have the wall, the berm, the landscaping. Then I don't have a back neighbor like that. I mean, but that's my opinion, and I would vote yes for it.
Mayor, originally, when this came up, I had kind of perused it, looked at it and said, oh, it's big, be done with it. And then when it came back up, I went ahead this time and I said, well, this is getting a little controversial. Let me really put some eyes on this and take a look at it. So one of the first things I want to do is go by and look at the gas station. You know, I see where it's at, one of the busiest corners, you know, on University. The station does not look good that is there. I'm not saying that as a shot at your station. It needs some stuff. And then in looking at the property next to it, and I see what it's zoned for, and I'm thinking, well, there could be a lot worse things here. Could be a car wash, could be a lot of things here. If we have an owner who's willing to make this nice, and I'll talk more about some of the other things, but the owner making things nice, or we can say no, let her sell it, and then deal with two different owners on two different things and make it worse. I think this owner is trying to work with everyone here. The things that I was worried about, noise, I've been assured that this is going to be better. Now, you can say, oh, I don't believe that. Well, what that is engineering. I'm a structural contractor. I deal with engineering all day. You know what engineering is? It's math. Math doesn't lie. It works. We have a code enforcement that has, I'm not sure what it's called, but it can read decibels. If these people start complaining and say, hey, it's too late, it's too loud, our code will go there at night and listen. And if it's too loud, then we have a code issue against them that we can control. So some of these fears about noise, I think are more, that they're not founded on facts. I'm sorry, they're just not founded on facts. And when I say I'm concerned about what could come there next, you may not have somebody that is amenable to putting in something that's nice, making sure that noise levels are there that'll work with hours on time. You may end up with the smaller gas station, but the property next to it, when it gets sold, you're going to have another problem. You're going to have another bar, a car wash, or something in there, and it's going to be worse. Sooner or later, something's going to be there. If we have somebody that's willing to work with the town, I think we should support them. And I think this is not going to do harm to the people that live there. I totally believe that, totally. And I believe that the facts will bear that out. And if they don't, we have the means to enforce that. That's what we have code enforcement for. I can't really see a good reason, other than you say it's large. There's a lot of things that are large. That doesn't make them big. I mean, it makes them big, but it doesn't make them bad. It's where it should be. This gas station is where it should be. Now you have residents there. They're willing to work with the residents to make it there. I have a question, if I can have someone come up and ask there. I forget your name, the lawyer for them. Well, one of them, either one. And I'll wait for you to get to the mic. There was a comment made about landscaping is going to be on the other side of the wall. Would you be willing to landscape on the other side of the wall as well?
I believe we are landscaping on both.
Okay, because it was said from some of the residents that it wasn't going to be, from what I
There's going to
understood.
be more landscaping where the residents can see, less landscaping when you're in the gas station looking. You'll see the wall from the gas station. It will be more covered with landscape on the other side.
Am I correct that it's 6 feet from the property line to the wall, and that 6 feet is where it's going to be landscaped?
Sandy might not know the specifics, but the answer is yes. The wall is 6 feet inside of Sunshine's property line. Yes.
And I'm just thinking that 6 feet doesn't give you, I think, enough room with to put in some
Do you mind if we get Rick Bartlett?
native trees, I mean, because of the root system.
We have a landscaping engineer.
Landscape architect?
Let's let him, I'd like to hear what he has to say about that.
Good evening, Rick Bartlett, Richard Bartlett Landscape Architecture, Wellington, Florida. Yes, there's a 6-foot, you have the 10-foot wall. We're already putting in trees and a hedge, but we came up with an additional concept, if this will help, with the residents. It's the only thing I have to bring, so these large trees right here are the existing trees.
Is this the east side or the west side?
This is the east side facing the residents.
Thank you.
So you have, these are their existing trees as an elevation looking at it.
So they'll be protected?
Yes, oh yes. And then these are the new trees that were already going to be put in. So, and right now on the plan there's a single hedge that was going to be put on the outside of the wall facing the residents. But we came up with a concept that we could put in 5 to 6 foot Hamelia firebush hedge higher instead of a 3-foot green buttonwood hedge. Oh, thank you. Let me use that. So anyway, there'll be a 5 to 6 foot Amelia firebush hedge instead of the 30-inch or 36-inch green buttonwood hedge. But then in front of that, we would put a 3-foot green buttonwood hedge and then Boston fern in front of that and do like a nice tiered effect. That would cover the whole 6 foot and created more noise, abatement for that area and really soften the wall a lot nicer because it's a 10-foot wall.
Can I ask who will maintain that?
They will.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, so
that's
you're-
their property, so they have to, yeah.
So when they come to take care of them on your side, your landscaper, whoever, will take care of their side as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not your property, to the property line, which is this. Right. Mhm. So it will be maintained, and that's the code of Davie.
And those are native?
Yep, all that's native. Yep.
But they're low plantings, there's hedges and low
Boston
plantings.
ferns are ground cover that's native to Florida. Green buttonwood is native to Florida, and then also the firebush, the Amelia.
I have firebush at my house, so I,
So that adds some color to them, it'll do well as the trees grow, all that can grow in shade, and it'll be a nice...
but you're
full-
not planting any, like oak trees or,
Yes.
canopy trees?
Yeah, there are some trees. There's going to be, I believe, cypress trees and also silver buttonwoods. And then you've got the large trees already right there, just east of that.
Yeah, but that's on their property.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
On this, thank you, Susan. This is the east side that I'm looking at.
Mhm.
It's the back of a house, so we'll be looking at that. But what you're saying is that's on Sunshine's property.
Yes, because
Well,
you have...
even this side of the fence is, because it's backed up 10 feet, so you've got 10 feet on,
6 feet.
6 feet on this side that belongs to Sunshine.
Mhm.
That's why you can maintain
Right,
both sides.
Right. Well, that is the east side.
I'm just saying, so
Yes.
that the
So it's not like a
resident doesn't have
prison
to.
fence right here. It's
Right.
back off and...
Right.
Okay.
And then also on the inside of the wall on Sunshine, there's a hedge.
Right,
That
on the
also
west
helps
side.
with noise also. Right. So you have the wall plus vegetation.
Can I ask one more question, Mayor, please?
Yeah.
Mr. Stacker, I think this would be more appropriate to you than landscaping. I know the wall is the same kind we have FDOT, and it has this stuff in it that's supposed to make the noise reflect back to the gas station, not to the east side, to the west side, if I'm correct.
Yes,
That's the theory.
yes.
With that, I want to ask, who will maintain that wall? Because I'm just saying, will you put into the plan that you will maintain the wall? Only because I know from experience that wall has been put up in another place, and when it came time to maintain it, nobody wanted to touch it. Nobody wanted to do anything about it, so.
No, absolutely. That's on our property, and it's our wall.
Okay, thank you. It's just a
Yes.
question I had about the wall.
Yes.
from Past experience. Thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions? I'd have it closed, did I ever close the public hearing?
I thought you did.
Yes.
I didn't. No.
You
The
did.
clerk says I didn't.
Oh, I remember you saying.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
I know, I appreciate putting native plants. I'm all about native plants. I'm a big tree hugger. Boston fern is very invasive. You look at the University of Florida website, sword fern is native. It's very similar to Boston fern. We can't have Boston fern. It's extremely invasive. Category like 1 invasive. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm making note of
You
it.
want to rebut that, sir?
Yes, it's also, what we'll use is a dwarf Boston fern, and it doesn't do what the leather ferns do. That gets giant and also invasive.
So it's not invasive?
Boston ferns are not a dwarf.
Okay. That's the kind of thing that would have been picked up on the building permit anyways when it went through.
Right. And it's all been approved, all the plants, the species, everything, so. And we're willing to make those changes that the P&Z wanted to do, so.
Okay, I'm going to have to move forward. It's very clear that I'm on the losing end here. but we're going to take each point and vote for. I'm going to close the public hearing, and we'll go ahead and start with number 18, which is the 250-foot variance. Of course, I would entertain a motion to deny. but
Mayor,
I
you
don't
want me
think
to read the title? I didn't read the title.
I haven't gotten there yet,
Okay.
but that's all right. Yes, please, read the title.
Yes, Mayor. Variance, a resolution of the Town of Davie, Florida, taking final action on variance application V19-072 Sunshine Gasoline, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. I have a motion?
Motion approved.
Second?
Roll call?
Councilmember Starkey?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Paul?
No.
Councilmember Whitman?
Yes.
Councilmember Hatton?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Sorry, folks. So we'll go back to, I think 14 is going to need a lot of work in the motion because that's the site plan. So let's take the plat next, number 15. Mr. Weinfeld, will you read that by title?
Yes, Mayor. A resolution of the Town of Davie, Florida, approving a plat known as Sunshine Gas Davie and authorizing the mayor and town clerk to acknowledge the approval by affixing the mayor's signature and the town seal to said plat, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
May I have a motion?
Motion to approve the plat?
16? No.
She
Does
just
that have
did.
to include the 5
15.
things that they wanted?
But not for the plat.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That goes with
Just-
the, I think that goes
I'm
with the
just
site
asking.
plan.
I'm just asking.
That's why I held that to
I'm sorry.
last.
Go ahead. Second?
Roll call?
Councilmember Hatton?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Councilmember Starkey?
Yes.
Mayor Paul?
No.
Motion passes.
Okay, let's take 17, the right-of-way. Would you read it by
Yes, Mayor.
title, please?
Vacation of right-of-way. In ordinance to the Town of Davie, Florida, approving application VA18-265 Sunshine Gasoline, vacating a portion of Southwest 45th Street, Orange Drive, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Before I ask for a motion, I'm going to ask if we can include in that motion to make sure that there is an area maintained for horses to stand and await the traffic so they can get across the road.
That's a good one. I like that. Need a motion?
Mm-hmm.
Motion to approve the vacation of right-of-way to include a space for horses to stand while crossing the road.
Mayor,
Yes.
David Quigley, Planning and Zoning. Are you referring to an area on the remaining town right-of-way or on the applicant's property?
It may overlap, because sometimes when we get the big marathon rides that go to the rodeo arena and they come down Orange Drive, there's 40 and 50 riders.
Police escort.
So they've got to come across or when they're going back, there may not be as many, but it has to be enough area for horses to, and a horse does not stand still, especially when there's traffic, and a lot of times people don't respect the horses, and they'll honk the horn, and the horses will start jumping around, and there'll be a lot of movement, so you can't relegate them to a little piece of
Can we
property.
add if needed, Mayor? Can we add if needed? I don't know, I'm just throwing it out.
Well, you could add after
Needed.
determination of how much area that is.
As needed.
Well, just to be clear, so within the I believe it's 99 feet of town right-of-way, there'll be some grassed swale area that obviously horses can stand just like they do today. If that's all you mean, then there's really no action to be taken. If you mean something on the development property where they have to convert something from buffer area to something else, then we may need to put some conditions on the site plan.
There's a question here, Mayor.
Question?
Sorry.
Yeah, David cleared it up, but that's the way I understood it. So it would be supporting, by vacating this right-of-way on that one section, it would be supporting what we've all wanted to have, which is that open space area. And it will do exactly what you're asking for if it's needed.
Well,
Because-
if it's needed.
So
Yeah,
put
if
as
it's-
needed.
Yeah.
That's, I think that would,
But I mean, I don't see the
Clear it up
point
for
because
you.
it's already, we're taking the they're vacating the right-of-way and we're taking the property over. So
no.
Vacation of right-of-way
the
works the
right-of-way
opposite way.
goes the opposite that way.
I just think if we put as needed and you find that,
For the-
that space is
Yes.
needed, we will use it. And
Thank
I'm
you.
sure they wouldn't have any problem with that.
Okay,
Right?
thank you.
Okay.
So restate the motion.
Okay, motion for vacation of right-of-way and to have an area that on the right-of-way for horses to stand if needed when they're traveling that road.
And it's a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Thank you, Alan. Mr. Weinthal.
Is there a second?
Damn, I almost got it full right.
Roll call?
Mayor Paul,
Yes.
Councilmember Hatton.
Yes.
Councilmember Starkey.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, let's take 19 is the wall.
What about 18?
We already did 18.
We did?
Yeah, 18's
That
already
was the
done.
var-
Okay.
You want me to read 19?
Yeah, the
19, I
variance
didn't
is
have
for
it circled.
the wall.
There we go.
A resolution of the Town of Davie, Florida, taking final action on variance application V20-168 Sunshine Gasoline, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve variance for sunshine on the wall. Does that cover it?
Motion to approve item number 19, variance.
Either forget the words or I forget the numbers, so here we go again. Motion to approve 19, the variance about the sunshine gasoline wall.
Is there a second?
Second.
Michelle.
Roll call?
Councilmember Whitman.
Yes.
Mayor Paul.
Yes.
Councilmember Starkey.
Yes.
Councilmember Hatton.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Number 20 is the air vacuums.
Yes, Mayor. A resolution of the Town of Davie, Florida, taking final action on special permit application SC18-263 Sunshine Gasoline, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
That's for the vacuums, right?
Yes, Mayor.
It's a special permit. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve number 20, special permit application on the vacuums.
Mayor, isn't this one where we would want to restrict the time
Not the vacuums.
because of the special permit? To make sure that we ensure that they're going to restrict the time
Is that
of
for the
using
car
it?
wash?
It could be the car wash,
That
too.
was-
But the vacuums, right?
That's, council can add conditions to a special permit for sure.
Because I thought when I met with the applicant, I was talking about, when they would have the hours of operation of the vacuums, and I didn't see that in the backup.
Bathrooms are inside.
So
They're a separate thing, right?
could you, explain?
Mayor, this is Rick. If you can ask the applicant if they're willing to do that, but there is nothing written today to restrict that.
Okay, so,
Mrs. Stacker?
would you, excuse me,
I'm sorry, Mayor.
would the applicant like to commit to that?
The vacuums.
Yes,
Time limitation on the vacuums so that they're not going?
yeah, it's, I was just talking with Sandy. It depends on what kind of unit you put in. But the answer is, yes, we can place a restriction, something like 11 to 7, from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Not.
What is
Yes.
the purpose
How
of
about
restricting
10?
that? I'm confused.
I'm not
don't want
sure.
Somebody running a vacuum in the middle of the night, that's why.
Yeah, but the sound,
I know, but it was,
somebody waiting at the bus stop might hear it, but, because it's over there on that side. But yes, we can do that.
Okay. So, are you going to make the motion, Susan?
Go ahead, Sue.
Why don't you make it 10 to 7?
10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
No, that the vacuums would not work from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m.
A.m., okay.
That's acceptable.
Go ahead, Sue.
Okay, motion
20.
to approve the special permit with the restriction of a not permitted use of the vacuum, outdoor vacuum, between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Hatton?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Councilmember Starkey?
Yes.
Mayor Paul?
No.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, 14. Now, this is going to get a little more involved. With the site plan, we have 5 provisions. If you'll restate them, Mr. Quigley, that came from the P&Z Board, correct?
Sure, they're on the town council agenda report. One is relocate the generator to the south side of the retail building. 2, applicant agrees to add screen around the vacuum system and coordinate with staff on the details. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. 2 is add 3 to 4 feet of stone base veneer on all columns in the gas pump area. 3 is change the plants on the berm that are green buttonwoods from 30-inch to 36-inch. 4, the Japanese blueberries, changing from a tree form to a full base. And 5, add a tree on both sides of the bus stop if permitted by FDOT.
Those are the 5.
Yes.
Okay, I think we also need to include there the time limit of the car wash. That was to be included as well. Are we going to specify the time?
What we would ask you to do is have it coincide with the air vac, 10 from prohibited between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. and 7 a.m., please.
Okay.
And there's also, and I don't know how you would deal with it, the, yet again, new landscape plan and the relocation of the generator pad that's shown on the existing site plan would go to the opposite side.
That's taken care of.
Okay.
That was already read, yeah.
Okay,
So
thank you.
we're going to include then the new landscape plan, the time limit from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. for the car wash.
Mayor, you mentioned the landscape plan. Are you trying to make a condition out of the slide?
No, he
that
was
they
just
did?
talking about the landscape plan that they just talked about.
That's what I'm.
Is that above and beyond what was,
It is above and beyond, and I'm not 100% clear on the details. They talked at first about replacing plants with other kinds of plants, and then they also talked about adding all new plants, so.
can we require in the motion that they present a full explanation of their revised?
If they can show me that plan, and it has all the details, I could just look at it for 10 seconds, I should be able to
Good.
tell.
Okay.
Over there.
Okay.
Mayor, you want to just take a short recess? 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 seconds?
Okay.
Next time I'm wearing gloves.
It was warm though when
My
we
hands are
started.
like popsicles.
The plan he showed me is clear enough, so if that's your desire to include that plan,
So we would word it, the new landscape plan as presented to Mr. Quigley on, at the meeting,
That would work.
because then that we know clearly what it is, so it's specific. Was there anything else that anyone picked up on that needs to go on the site plan? Okay, did you write it all down, Susan, to make the motion?
Did you write it? I didn't. but
I
go
saw
ahead.
you very busy,
Yeah,
so.
I've been keeping track. I'll try. I'm going to make it simple, though. I'm going to say, make a motion to approve the site plan with the terms and conditions that
14.
were set forth 1 through 5, as expressed by David Quigley, the planning director. That the timing of the car wash be limited to, not to allow for car washing to be used between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. Incorporate the new landscaping plan as revised, as discussed and presented at the town council meeting tonight.
And this is a motion to approve item 14, site plan SP 18-262 Sunshine Gasoline.
Correct.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Vice Mayor Lewis.
Yes.
Councilmember Starkey.
Yes.
Mayor Paul.
No.
Councilmember Hatton.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much for your time.
Okay. Well, we covered everything?
I think so.
We did do 16, didn't we?
Yes, Mayor, everything, we've done
Yes.
everything.
Okay,
We did
got
14,
everything.
15, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Okay, very good. All right, well, Mayor and council member comments. I just want to thank everybody that came to the chamber meeting and supported me for the state of the town, to thank Leona and her staff for the time that they put into the PowerPoint presentation. It was really great. I got waylaid a little bit from my speech because I wanted to watch the the video. But it was really done very well, and I appreciate it. We received more letters from Hawks Bluff now. They also got invited to the World Championship for the robotics.
Yeah.
So now we got 2 schools in Davie going, and here I went and committed to some money for Fox Trail, and I know that we've told them that we don't have this in our budget.
Are they a middle school, Mayor?
No, they're
They're both elementary?
both
I
elementary,
thought only one
yeah.
elementary was Fox Trail.
And,
Or some
I mean,
elementary.
they gave their thing, they're looking to raise close to $30,000,
And that was a speech.
you know. So, you know, I may give them a little bit from, you know, but I'm not gonna start a trend here where if everybody that asks for money that I'm
Donating
gonna
to Fox
be donating.
I'm donating to Fox Trail.
Yeah.
I did last year, and I didn't know
Yeah.
this one came up till very late.
Yeah. So I haven't really decided yet what I'm gonna do, but and I also like to thank those on council who supported me and sat with me at my table at the Gay Men Choruses
so good.
fundraiser gala.
So
It was
good.
really quite wonderful, and they have one thing that you can bid on, which is a maestro for a moment. And what you do is you go to rehearsals and you learn how to lead the chorus, and you become, at one of the concerts, the maestro. And I have been bidding on that for years, and I've never gotten it. Well, I got it this time. And so, yeah, and I'm going to be maestro in their next year's concert series, and one of the concerts, I will be maestro, and I'll make sure I'll let you all know, and you can all come and watch me lead the chorus. I'm already practicing, and I know this means to hold the note, so I can make them hold the note. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. That's all I have right now. We got shredding and medicine drop-off at I think it's Bamford, right? It's right here on Saturday. So those individuals that need to do that, please keep that in mind. Michelle?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to start tonight with a push to encourage members of our community to apply for the housing assistant programs that are available. We have two great programs. The first-time homebuyer program is geared toward helping members of our community become Davie homeowners, and the home repair program is geared toward helping Davie homeowners make repairs to their home. Our Community Services Division team has worked to get this information out, and I want to do my part to help support them. Our Human Resource team recently shared a donation drive which they are asking for everyone's contributions. The Back on My Feet program collects new and unopened personal care items which are distributed to those at risk or homeless. If you have any items that can be donated, we have until Friday to drop them off at the nearest participating town facility. Our Davie POW will be hosting a community spring event at Potters Park on April 1st from 2 to 5 p.m. This is a fun family event which will include various activities such as bounce houses, food trucks, face painting, and other fun games. This Friday, our Parks team is hosting its second Sounds of the Town concert featuring live music. The concert is held from 6 to 9 p.m. right here at Banford Sports Complex. This is an outdoor activity, and you are encouraged to bring your lawn chairs, blankets, and get a spot for you and your family. It's always a nice event to enjoy on a Friday night. I'd like to say happy birthday early to Councilmember Hatton, because in a few weeks, it's going to be her special day. My fellow council, I will see you all at the vision and goal setting session. Thank you, Mayor. Back to you.
Vice Mayor?
My thing on, I think I turned it off, or I started there. My apologies. FDOT is hosting a meeting regarding the upcoming State Road 93 and I-75 improvements. This meeting will take place next Tuesday, March 21st at 5 p.m. at the Ivanhoe Community Center at 6101 Volunteer Road, Davie. If you can't make it in person, they will have a virtual component so you can, check that online. This project will take place from Griffin Road to Sheridan Street, which will begin in April 2023 and is anticipated to be completed in spring of 25. There will be significant enhancements along the roadway, including road widening. There will be repaving and new guardrails, so some traffic may impact the communities. This information is on the website, and I know at those meetings we had out there, we had quite a few of the community out there. So if this is an area where you live and you're concerned about this, there now we know, please be at that meeting. I have some other things here, but they've already been mentioned for the sake of time here. That is all I need to say. Thank you.
Mrs. Starkey?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes. I too want to congratulate you on a very successful State of the Town. I thought that presentation that was done by you and staff was amazing. You all did a great job, and I really want to thank all the staff members who attended too. I think we all, no matter what happens, I think we all kind of learn a little bit as we go about the different departments and agencies and hear how wonderful Davie's doing. Maybe we don't get to hear that enough. So very proud of that. Thank you very much. Water Matters Day was on Saturday at Treetops Park. There is a toilet rebate for those of you who want a more energy efficient toilet. You can go on the county's website and receive a toilet rebate and get a new toilet that is energy efficient. I think those are good. It's a good way to save water. Also, they were giving trees away. So if you did their little stages, as they do, you go from one place to the next, and you were able to get your free tree giveaway. saw a lot of people attending the food trucks too, and I took pictures, so I can share those with Jeff. It looked like they were lining them up, and they looked very good, so got some ideas for you too. So thank you for that. We can always get good food trucks from the county too. And St. David Carnival is coming up this weekend, and for those of you who love the carnival, it's always a fun time to be in Davie and ride the rides with the family and have a lot of food court and stuff like that there as well. And happy St. Patrick's Day, which is coming up soon. And legislative session, oh boy, this week I thought I'd pull my hair out. It was the first week of legislative session and they hit the ball running. There is a bill that's up there, as many of you know, called Sovereign Immunity. And I want to thank especially Bill Ackerman and Risk Manager. I want to thank Jose and Leona and Grace for all of you, and our broker for getting us the information on what it means to us back home. I was able to fire off a lot of emails to our representatives and let them know how this is going to impact us. When we already had a 10% increase last year in our risk insurance, you can imagine if they're going to increase the sovereign immunity caps at 1,600%, how that would increase our insurance premiums. So the only persons we would then bring that back to is, unfortunately, our residents. So I'm trying to get out there and let the residents know that some of these bills are going to be not in their best interest either. Also, legislation on residential permit bill is being heard, was heard today or possibly again tomorrow if it didn't get finished. That's going to be another issue that's going to affect the health, safety, and welfare of all of our residents if it's not done properly. Because this is a big deal, because we want the oversight to be able to look at these a little closely when these permits are filed. And there's kind of like a shot clock. If you don't meet a certain deadline, then the next thing you know, you're going to get fined. And it could be no fault of the towns. It doesn't matter if there's any kind of man-made or natural disaster like a pandemic or other things. It doesn't allow for that. If they file for their permit on Friday, it even includes the weekends, and you have to answer them that you received it by Monday. So these timelines are pretty strict and stringent. So we're hoping that they'll kill the bill, and or at least sufficiently modify it so it does not affect the health, safety, and welfare. Like I said, there's a lot of bills. Thousands of bills have already been filed. We're following, at least with the Florida League of Cities, about 500 of them right now with our lobbyist, our town lobbyist, and it's not an easy task. You just look at the calendar and run. So it's been driving me crazy. So if I'm a little on the edge, that's probably why. Cinco de Mayo will be the end of session, and you'll have your old Susie back. So thank you for allowing me to do this, and have a good weekend.
Councilmember Hatton?
Thank you. Mayor's not here, but as always, she made a wonderful presentation at the State of the Town. Excellent as always. I'd like to give a kudos out to the police department chief. I already said it, but I'm going to say it for the record. I got together 3 groups, the Davie Women's Club, the Sir Optimist International of Davie, and the DKG Society, which is Society of Retired Teachers. And we did a self-protection for women workshop last night, and it was spectacular. And we had 33 people showed up, and these police officers were just wonderful and really taught the ladies how to protect themselves from carjackings and purse stealing and walking around Publix and forgetting to keep your purse closed or turning around and leaving it in the thing. But it was excellent. And then they tried out a few techniques of punching and hitting and stuff and kicking, so it was really good. The Easter egg hunt is coming up at Bamford. You can check the website for that. I know it starts at 10 a.m., but I can't remember the date. Do you have the date, Jeff?
I think it's the 8th.
April 8th? It might be. Is it? Yes. April 8th. So I know it starts sharply at 10 o'clock, that I remember. A happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody who celebrates that, and if you don't, you can celebrate it, you'll enjoy it. The MPO had an opening for the projects that the municipalities wanted to have done, and we already had our meetings, and we've submitted 3 projects, I believe, I've discussed with you. And I was told that our 3 projects are at step 3, which is, I think, pretty good of being accepted. And as Councilmember Starkey said, I had an AHAC meeting, which is the affordable housing from group from Tallahassee. It was a Zoom meeting, and there's a bill 102, which talks about it's affordable housing. It has a lot of money in it. It's really great, but they all sneak some things in it. And one of them has to do with if they do affordable housing and you do such a certain one, they take away our ability to determine height and density. So that's kind of a home rule thing that we need to keep an eye on. Following up on Councilman Whitman, where you said to go for the housing and the low income and the housing repair. Yesterday, I found out that we had to raise our amounts because things have gotten very desperate, and we can't afford, we get things done at what the rates we have now. So do apply for them. There's money there, and it has gone up a little bit. So, and that's it. Thank you, Mayor. You weren't here, but I thanked you for your presentation. It was
Thank you.
wonderful.
I just need to add two things that I forgot. One is that we've already put, thanks to Jeff, we've already put out the information for the mayor's scholarship. I'll be offering that again this year, and any senior that goes to school in Davie, Davie resident, public or private, is eligible. They can contact Parks and Rec for any of the details, but I did post it on Facebook, and I'm sure that the town will put it on their page as well. Is it posted on our webpage? Yeah, okay. So the information is readily available. And also, I just forgot to mention that I did go to Water Matters Day as well, and greeted everyone to the town of Davie on behalf of the council and the town. So another one of those days where I had to get out by 8 o'clock in the morning, so.
Mayor, can I apply you something? Ask you something?
What?
Someone can, Water Matters Day is a county project, correct?
Yes.
Somebody suggested that maybe just because of the way things happen, that maybe the bicycle thing and Water Matters could be combined. That it might make sense to combine them. It was just a thought. I thought I'd bring it up and
Yeah, I know,
see
but
what you say.
I was able to go to Water Matters Day and then also go to the bike rodeo, so I don't think that would work out, but, yeah. No,
Remind you, I was writing your note to tell you that.
What? Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lemack.
Mayor, I have nothing this evening, thank you.
Mr. Weinthal?
I'm good, Mayor.
Oh, my goodness. There's no objection? I'm not even going to ask. We're adjourned.